very good afternoon. India looks to create history by becoming the first nation to reach the moon's south pole. Well, this is the big story that we are tracking through the day today. Welcome to the Midday News. I'm Aishwarya with you. Let us start with the top headlines. Chandrayaan II's lander Vikram all set to make historic lunar landing tonight. Touchdown to make India the first country to land a space vehicle on the moon's southern polar region. Special coverage on Rajya Sabha TV from 11 p.m. tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to witness Vikram's descent on lunar surface live from Bengaluru. 60 students from across the country to present at the ISRO along with the Prime Minister. The students were selected through an online quiz competition. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu launches book on President Kovind's select speeches. Naidu says President's address have an earnest call for inclusiveness, a close connect with the people and a vision for New India. And Prime Minister Modi returns to New Delhi after concluding a two-day Russia visit. Says outcomes of the visit will bring Russia and India closer. President Putin says no serious international group will be complete without economic juggernaut like India. The countdown for the soft landing of Chandrayaan II has begun as Vikram begins its final descent to the lunar surface. Vikram, with rover Pragyan housed inside, is scheduled for a powered descent between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. on 7th of September, followed by its touchdown between 1:30 and 2:30 a.m. Now, successful landing will make India the fourth country after the US, Russia and China to achieve a soft landing on the moon. However, it will be the first to launch a mission to the unexplored lunar south pole.
I'm excited. I'm here really just to celebrate with the people of India this great accomplishment. And we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of that, of landing on the moon. And now India, with that, sort of humble beginning really, is about to land on the moon in a spot that no other nation has been, down near the South Pole, where we think there might be some water resource. And, human beings, we need water. That is the essence of life. And so some of that exploration will be with that. Some of it just learning how to get a lander on the surface of the moon, not a very, very tough, difficult task. And then putting a little rover out. So, it's just a fantastic, I'm excited, I'm here.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with a number of students, will be present at the ISRO Center in Bengaluru to be live witnesses of the historic moment. Now, ISRO has selected 60 students to watch the historic event through an online quiz competition.
बहुत खुश हूँ क्योंकि चंद्रयान 2 का लैंडिंग मुझे देखने मिल रहा है इसरो के टॉप साइंटिस्ट्स के साथ, पीएम मोदी जी के साथ, तो इसलिए मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ।
बड़ी एक्साइटमेंट है, मैं कब जाऊँ वहाँ, कब सर से मिलूँ, कब उनसे बातें करूँ, कब उनसे सर्टिफिकेट लूँ, कब चंद्रयान 2 को लैंडिंग करते हुए देखूँ, बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ।
And ISRO has launched a video showcasing lander Vikram's journey to the moon's south polar region. The video describes the function of all the various parts of the lander. It is designed to function for one lunar day, which was equivalent to about 14 Earth days. Now, Vikram has the capability to communicate with the IDCN near Bengaluru, as well as with the orbiter and the rover. The lander is designed to execute a soft landing on the lunar surface. On the day of landing, that is expected tonight between 1 to 2 a.m., the propulsion system of the lander will break its velocity in a controlled way where the engines are shut off before the touchdown. And in the final seconds before landing, the Vikram lander will be assisted only by the moon's gravity and not the spacecraft's thrusters. This move is to prevent a mini plume of lunar dust from covering the lander and its solar panels. The 15 minutes from the 35-kilometer orbit until the landing are crucial. During this time, the lander will undergo an automated pre-programmed landing sequence. This 15-minute flight is something that ISRO has never undertaken. It is the most complex mission it has ever undertaken. The spacecraft's onboard navigation, guidance and control systems, as well as the propulsion system of the module, will need to work in perfect unison for the autonomous landing to be a success.
Many objectives, but if you compare with the Chandrayaan 1 has confirmed there is a hope, there is water on the moon. But how much? Is there more than either abundance of water? Yes, there is supposed to be a lot of ice particles beneath the surface of the moon, which cannot be seen by any other sensor except a radar. So we have a very powerful synthetic aperture radar. It's an imaging radar which has got the very important features. It can see through the clouds, fog, smoke, and can see through the soil.
In our time, we started off with small rockets and other things. I am very happy that on 7th, I wish and everything that 7th, that 15 minutes if it takes place, I can say, हमारा जन्म में हम तो देख लिया. But the young fellows will be seeing so many. For them, they will be towards the moon, they will be towards here, they will be to asteroid, they will pull probably some asteroid and come. There are so many things are possible.
We have waited for this day for a very long time, and you may remember that Chandrayaan II was conceived and proposed even before Chandrayaan I was launched, that is in 2008. Now, ever since the launching date and were getting postponed year after year, finally the day has come, and not only last 22nd July, GSLV Mark III rocket took Chandrayaan II to its orbit, and eventually it is in the orbit around the moon, and the separation of lander from the orbiter also has taken place last 2nd September. So now it is almost ready, although both the gadgets are going around the moon in their own respective orbits, and a appropriate orbit which was desired, 35 kilometer by 101 kilometer for the lander, that has been achieved. So now we are just waiting, and it's a matter of hours only, and as the clock strikes 2 in the morning of 7th September, that's the time around when we'll be learning about lander on its way towards the surface of the moon. So that's a remarkable moment for us, and it will be really very we'll be very partly anxious, partly thrilled, and partly hopeful, and we hope everything goes in a proper fashion and the landing is smooth and hazard free.
All right, so Chandrayaan II moon mission scheduled to land on the lunar surface at 1:55 a.m. This even as India looks to create history by becoming the first nation to reach the moon's south pole. So ISRO is geared up for the historic mission. All are waiting with bated breath for India's ambitious lunar mission Chandrayaan II's historic soft landing on the moon in the early hours of Saturday. All right, our colleague Aruna Thakur is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Aruna, everyone waiting with bated breath as Chandrayaan II's moon mission scheduled to land on the lunar surface at 1:55 a.m. India looking to create history by becoming the first nation to reach the moon's south pole. How is ISRO geared up for the historic mission? In fact, we have with us at this moment TV Venkateshwaran, senior scientist, joining us. Very good afternoon, sir. Sir, so Chandrayaan II moon mission scheduled to land on the lunar surface at 1:55 a.m. India looking to create history by becoming the first nation to reach the moon's south pole. How is ISRO geared up for this mission?
Yeah, it's geared up very well. I mean, actually, if you look at the process, on 3rd of September, they did a last deorbiting maneuver. In that, I mean, we ISRO achieved an orbit of 35 kilometers into 101 kilometer elliptical orbit. Because of this, ISRO had to recalculate all its landing procedure, and now they have fixed the time of deboosting. That is when the landing procedure will start at exactly at 1:38 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Now these data has been fed into the Vikram lander. Now it is for Vikram lander to land. Once you fix the data in Vikram lander and send commands to Vikram lander, during that whole descent phase, that is coming from 30 kilometers above the moon surface to landing on its surface, that 15 minutes, roughly it is 15 and a half minutes actually. That 15 and a half minutes, I mean, you can't do anything. I mean, it's all automatic operation. So those commands have been sent to the Vikram lander based on the last telemetry data that's available with ISRO. So it's fully geared up. They're all waiting for this big day. Tomorrow will be a new dawn. It's very clear that this mission will succeed, so it will be a new dawn tomorrow.
Absolutely, it will be a new dawn tomorrow. In India's spacecraft, they're landing on the south polar region of the moon. It is the unexplored area of the moon so far, and India would become the first country to land its rover on the moon's southern pole. Thank you so much, Mr. Venkateshwaran, for joining us and giving us all those updates there from ISRO. Let's get you some other news now. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today released a compilation of selected speeches of President Ramnath Kovind at an event in the national capital. Titled The Republican Ethic Volume 2 in English and Loktantra Ke Swar Khand 2 in Hindi, the books are a collection of 95 of President Kovind's selected speeches made in the second year of his office. And addressing the gathering, Vice President Naidu said that in President's addresses, he finds an earnest call for inclusiveness, rare pragmatism, a close connect with the people, and a vision for a new India. He said that the fascinating discovery and diversity of our nation is reflected through these speeches, along with President Kovind's unwavering faith in democratic values. This book has been published by Publication Division under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and the speeches have been divided into 8 categories.
He always insists on inclusive growth. A country of 128 crores, huge country with 28 states, with 700 plus languages, with different religions, with different communities and different social strata. What is required, the priority is to have inclusive growth so that everybody in the country should feel that he is also partner in the development story of the country. That's why the President always guides us in that direction. Being a seasoned and distinguished lawyer, Honorable President is aware of the power and challenges of the profession. Being a firm believer of social change through constitutional methods, Sri Kovindji always emphasizes the potential of legal profession in delivery of justice to the poorest of the poor.
राष्ट्रपति महोदय का जीवन सामाजिक न्याय के लिए निरंतर संघर्ष का प्रेरणास्पद रहा है। इसलिए सामाजिक न्याय के सरोकार उनके संबोधनों में निरंतर झलकते हैं।
उन्होंने जो भाषण दिए वो इतने महत्वपूर्ण थे, जो गाइडेंस किया बैठकों में, लेकिन ये मुख्य भाषण है दीक्षांत समारोह में जब गए तब क्या हुआ, कैसे भाषण दिया, छात्रों को कैसे गाइड किया, ये बहुत, और उसमें बदलती हुई दुनिया का पूरा विश्लेषण भी दिखता है। संस्कृति पर उन्होंने किया है, संविधान तथा ब्यूरोक्रेसी उस पर भी बात हुआ है, राजधर्म पर बात हुई है।
And President Ramnath Kovind is attending the Swachhta Mahotsav in New Delhi today. And at the event, the President presented the awards for outstanding contribution to the Swachh Bharat Mission in various categories. These are the live visuals that we are getting from the national capital. President Ramnath Kovind attending the Swachhta Mahotsav. Earlier, he also presented the awards for outstanding contribution to the Swachh Bharat Mission in various categories. He had also earlier visited an exhibition based on Swachhta and Swachh Bharat Mission. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat presided over the event. Remember, Swachh Mahotsav 2019 was launched on 24th of June this year. It is a campaign to celebrate the success of the Swachh Bharat Mission and honor those who were instrumental in making it happen.
देवियों और सज्जनों, स्वच्छता अभियान में भारत की सफलता से प्रेरित होकर अनेक देश हमसे सीखना चाहते हैं और हम उनके साथ अपने अनुभव साझा कर रहे हैं। सन 2018 में आयोजित महात्मा गांधी इंटरनेशनल सैनिटेशन कन्वेंशन का उद्घाटन करने का भी मुझे शुभ अवसर मिला था। उस कन्वेंशन में लगभग 70 देशों ने भागीदारी की थी। उसके बाद हमारे देश के स्वच्छता अभियान के बारे में अन्य देशों की जिज्ञासा और भी बढ़ी है। यह उल्लेखनीय है कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र द्वारा निर्धारित किए गए विभिन्न सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स को सन 2030 तक हासिल किया जाना है, लेकिन भारत 11 वर्ष पहले यानी 2019 में ही स्वच्छता से जुड़े इस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने वाला है। यह पूरे देश के लिए गर्व की बात है।
On to some other news now. The states of Haryana, Uttarakhand, Delhi, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh have been felicitated for their performance in successfully implementing the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program. Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, felicitated the states and districts for their performance at an event in the national capital. The districts include Bhiwani and Mahendragarh of Haryana, Udham Singh Nagar of Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh's Etawah. The objective of the program is to felicitate states and districts for their good performance in improving sex ratio at birth. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in New Delhi after concluding his two-day visit to Vladivostok in Russia. And ahead of his departure from Vladivostok last evening, the Prime Minister termed the visit as productive, during which he held summit-level talks with President Vladimir Putin and discussed ways to bolster cooperation in various areas. He also attended the 5th Eastern Economic Forum, where India announced a $1 billion line of credit to the development of Russia's Far East region.
Turning a new page in the 70-year-old diplomatic relations between India and Russia, India on Thursday announced an unprecedented $1 billion line of credit for the development of Russia's Far East. Addressing the plenary session of the 5th Eastern Economic Forum at Vladivostok, where he was the chief guest, Prime Minister Modi pledged that New Delhi will walk shoulder to shoulder with Moscow in developing the resource-rich region. The announcement marks the first time that New Delhi has offered a line of credit to any specific region of any country.
फार ईस्ट के विकास में और योगदान देने के लिए भारत $1 बिलियन की लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट देगा। यह पहला मौका है कि हम किसी देश के क्षेत्र विशेष को लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट दे रहे हैं। मेरी सरकार की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी ने ईस्ट एशिया को एक्टिवली एंगेज किया है और आज की यह घोषणा एक्ट फॉर ईस्ट का टेक ऑफ पॉइंट साबित होगी।
Unveiling the Act Far East policy to boost India's engagement, Prime Minister said the Indian business delegation signed about 50 agreements with counterparts in Russia's Far East in sectors like energy, mining to healthcare and education.
तेजी से बढ़ते भारत और उसकी प्रतिभा की इस रीजन से भागीदारी एक और 11 बनाने का ऐतिहासिक मौका है। फ्रेंड्स, इसी मोटिवेशन से हमने ईस्टर्न इकोनॉमिक फोरम में हमारे पार्टिसिपेशन के लिए अभूतपूर्व तैयारी की। मुझे ये बताते हुए खुशी रही है कि हमारी इन कोशिशों के बहुत ही अच्छे परिणाम आ रहे हैं। एनर्जी से लेकर के हेल्थ, एजुकेशन से लेकर के स्किल डेवलपमेंट, माइनिंग से लेकर के टिम्बर, अनेक क्षेत्रों में करीब 50 बिजनेस एग्रीमेंट हुए हैं।
Responding to a question about the policy of sanctions, the Prime Minister expressed concern over the impact of sanctions on individual countries as well as the overall global economy.
मैं समझता हूं कि दुनिया के अंदर इस पर बड़ी डिबेट चल रही है कि जिस देश के लिए सैंक्शन लगते हैं उस पर इसका कितना प्रभाव होता है वो एक बात है, लेकिन उसके कारण दुनिया के अन्य देशों पर जो प्रभाव होता है, विश्व की ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी जो प्रभाव होता है, उस पर आज विश्व में गहरी चिंता भी है, चर्चा भी है।
Earlier, Prime Minister Modi held several bilateral meetings in Vladivostok on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum. He also held talks with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on deepening ties in economic, defense and security, startup and 5G areas.
Relationship with particular emphasis on the forthcoming visit of the Japanese Prime Minister to India for the annual summit. That will take place sometime in the month of December. The dates will be negotiated and announced in due course. Before that, both leaders have agreed that the 2+2, the first 2+2 ministerial meeting, that is the foreign and defense ministers of the two countries, will have a meeting preferably before this annual summit. And in that context, Prime Minister Abe also mentioned the ongoing visit or the just concluded visit of Raksha Mantri to Japan, and he remarked that during the visit of Raksha Mantri to Japan, substantial issues had been discussed on taking forward our exchanges and cooperation in the field of defense, and he hoped that some of the discussions would lead to outcomes during the annual summit. Inevitably, discussion also took place on regional and international affairs.
The Prime Minister Modi also held talks with Malaysian Prime Minister, during which he raised the issue of extradition of radical television preacher Zakir Naik. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met Mongolian President on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum.
From Volga to Ganga was the phrase that used to be uttered while specifying the relationship between India and Russia. Now it is Vladivostok to Chennai too. That means emotions with practicality in a new way. It has the potential to challenge the unipolarity and also to establish balance of power in the world. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Shyam Lal in Delhi.
Let's get to some international news now. Robert Mugabe, the long-time leader of Zimbabwe, who was forced to resign in 2017 after a military takeover, has died. His successor, Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa, expressed his utmost sadness, calling Mugabe as Zimbabwe's founding father and an icon of liberation. Mugabe was a former guerrilla chief who took power after the end of white minority rule in 1980 and presided over a country whose early promise was eroded by economic turmoil and human rights violations. News from the UK now, where the government said on Thursday that the members of parliament will get another chance to vote for an early election on Monday. Now, this move comes after the House of Commons rejected Prime Minister Boris Johnson's plan for a snap election on 15th of October in a vote on Wednesday. Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell said that Labour Party wanted an election, but its priority was stopping a no-deal Brexit. The day after the parliamentarians rejected the first attempt to call a snap poll, UK Cabinet Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg told them that he would put forward a motion relating to an early parliamentary election to be voted on Monday evening. Remember, Boris Johnson wants an election on 15th of October in order to stick to the Brexit deadline on 31st of October. And now an update on Hurricane Dorian, and the death toll from the hurricane has risen to 30 in the Bahamas. The authorities said that previously reported 20 were dead, but they have warned that the final figure is sure to go even higher than 30. Bahamas Prime Minister has said that the storm caused generational devastation. The United Nations said that 70,000 people in the Bahamas were in immediate need of aid. As many as 13,000 homes in the Bahamas have been destroyed or severely damaged. Dorian, a currently 2-category storm, is now pounding the U.S. states of North and South Carolinas, and it has brought their strong winds, a lot of rain and dangerous storm surge as well. Sports news now. Serena Williams has cruised into a 10th US Open final on Thursday as she brushed aside Elena Svitolina 6-3, 6-1 to claim a record-equaling 101st win at the Flushing Meadows. Now Serena Williams is seeking a 24th Grand Slam singles title. To match Margaret Court's all-time record, she will face Bianca Andreescu on Saturday. The 37-year-old American, who made her US Open debut in 1998, drew level with Chris Evert for the most wins in the tournament history after advancing to a 33rd major final. And talking about the men's singles, Rafael Nadal will play Italy's Matteo Berrettini in the US Open semi-finals. Nadal is the only former major champion left in the men's field following the elimination of Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, leaving him as the clear frontrunner in his pursuit of a 19th major title. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks so much for your time.